Welcome, welcome, welcome to On Fire to Inspire. I am Aaliyah, your purpose midwife. I want to thank y'all so much this beautiful Tuesday evening. You could have been doing anything else and spending it anywhere else, doing anything else, but you chose to spend it with us. And for that, we're totally grateful. Y'all, I'm so excited about tonight's topic. We are wrapping up our Women's History Month celebration. And before we get started on our topic of pursuing your dreams, we're going to thank our sponsors, okay? But while I'm doing it, I need y'all to hit that share button. So if you're in Facebook land, you're in YouTube land, or LinkedIn land, go hit that share button for me as I am thanking our sponsors, and then we're going to get started, okay? So thank you so much to Mom Biz Boss. If you are an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, you want to connect with these ladies. It's mombizboss.org. Connect with those ladies. You can glow and grow even better. You can stretch your arms and become more like the octopus, right? But that's mombizboss.org. We also have iworkfaith.com with my big brother and apostle Ricky D. Surratt, iworkfaith.com. He is a John Maxwell certified teacher as well as presenter. So presenter and leader. So y'all, when I tell you leader, speaker, if you need any of that, he can do groups for you, things of that nature. He's also the author of Leadership Inside Trajectory. Then we have sensationalgalore.org. If you need some 22 different scents of body butters, all naturally made. They also have 7 men scents. You'll go to sensational-galore.com. And then finally, nope, not finally, next to finally, we have Dance with Mina. If you go to Facebook, you're in Facebook world, go to Come Dance with Mina, MENA. We have line dance and Zumba on Mondays and Thursdays. This coming Thursday, we will have our monthly line dance party, and you are invited. The cost is only $10. I think the virtual and in-person sessions will be available. Y'all, it's so much fun. And happy belated birthday. We celebrated Tamina's birthday with her Zumba tribe yesterday. So happy belated birthday. And then finally, if you don't have a copy of any of my books, you can find them on Amazon. You can find them on onfiretoinspire.com, or you can find the Affirmations Coloring Book and Affirmations Coloring Book on Walmart.com, Target.com, BarnesandNobles.com. But all of the books are available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all that good stuff. Great evening to you, my May. All right, y'all hit that share button because we got about to get started. Tonight's topic is pursuing your purpose. You know, as we get a little older, life is lifing, right? And as my friend Kathy says, in real time. And so, you know, you get caught up in, okay, I got to pay this bill. I got to take care of these kids. You got to do life, okay? And sometimes you forget to either you're settling for getting to live, or you're forgetting all about those dreams you had. But we're going to talk to one of my new little friends named Taylor, and she is we're gonna let her tell you who she is. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the topic of pursuing your dreams. So we're gonna welcome Taylor. Welcome Taylor to the On Fire to Inspire platform. I want you to introduce yourself, guys. If y'all haven't already, hit that share button because you want to get some people. We're gonna use her testimony to encourage and inspire you to wake up and live.
Let's go.
All right. So Taylor, introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you so much for having me on here, Leah. My name is Taylor Patenaude. I grew up mostly in Greenville, South Carolina. I currently am the co-owner of Love Me Some Lace with my mother, and I am the daughter of James Carter, who has been the owner of Empire Limited Studio in downtown Greer for about the last 13 years. So I grew up in an entrepreneurial household, 2 very self-made parents who I watched work extremely hard my entire life. And they definitely gave me the hunger to explore entrepreneurship, but also the humbleness to know that it requires a lot of hard work. I'm also married to my husband Brett, who I met while I was in college, and we have a 5-year-old son together in Hampton Roy.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you are the co-owner of Love Me Some Lace Bridal Boutique. Now, so you and your mom are the first African American
Yes.
mother-daughter duos in Spartanburg with a bridal boutique.
Yes.
Congratulations and kudos to that.
Thank you. We opened October of 2022.
October 2022. So you've already gone through that first year.
Yeah.
You've gone coming up on the second or the
We're in our second year
you're
currently. Yeah.
in your second year. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, what made you say it's time for me? Let me back up because I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm excited. So the topic itself of pursuing your purpose, what does that mean to you, Taylor?
um, so I'm a believer. Uh, I have faith, and I have my kind of faith, and my relationship with the Lord is very intentional. But I like to I like to take a back seat. I don't like to force things, and I like to watch and I like to listen. And I believe that as long as you're leading an honest and good life, God will talk to you as long as you're listening. So everything I have in my life, I attribute to the fact that I always kept my ears and eyes wide open. And that also meant I kept my brain and my heart wide open to anything and everything. Um, so with the bridal boutique, that came when I was looking for my dress about 8 years ago in Charlotte, and I had an amazing experience. This story is all on our website as well, lovemesomelace.com. And I had an amazing experience with my mom and a couple of friends, and it was a good experience, but also it was very obvious that we paid for the experience that we had. Um, for reference, the veil that I tried on with my gown was about $2,000. Um, yeah. And like I said, that's 8 years ago. So those numbers probably even more insane now. So I was like, you
Just
know
the
what?
veil. Just the veil.
Just the veil. And my dress was nothing, galactic. Okay, it was just a wedding dress, but it was where we were was what we paid for, and the experience we had. So I went to, a big name brand, big box bridal store, and I went in and asked for a veil, and I was not treated as well as I was at the boutique in Charlotte. And, my mom and I kind of left that store saying to ourselves, why do brides have to sacrifice the quality of the experience for the affordability of dresses, of accessories? And kind of wanting to, I don't know, do a little bit of a deep dive into the behind the scenes of the bridal industry, and kind of, is there price gouging happening, or are these the actual prices? Are the timelines being inflated to create urgency, things like that? And so my mission I took from that was to bring integrity back to the bridal world, and to bring humanness and understanding back to the bridal world. I don't think in order to be a bride, you have to be extremely wealthy. Um, and I think that's kind of the road that it was going down for a very long time.
So your experience is what opened your eyes to wanting to set the tone for everybody else, saying you have a beautiful wedding and a beautiful gown, but you don't have to pay
Right.
$2,000 for a veil.
Yeah. Accessibility to me is always so important. Just like representation is important, accessibility is important.
Wow. So as you were going down this road of, okay, I want to bring this to the light.
Right.
Um,
But at the time, I will say, the time we're talking about, like I said, I'm 28 years old now. So at the time we're talking about this 8 years ago, I was 20 years old. I didn't know nothing about nothing. Okay, this was a big idea, dream, as inspiring as it sounds. I was 20 years old and I was getting married. Uh, so there, there wasn't much credibility I had. And that's something that I always find myself getting frustrated with, is that there's so much I wanted to do, but I was
Mhm.
so young, and I was like, you know what? I have some notches to get in my belt. I need to get some wisdom. And so at the time that I went and looked at my dress, I was also in school to be a surgical technologist. And doing that for the last almost 7 years has taught me so much that I'm so grateful for. I'm still currently a surgical technologist. I'm PRN. I go about once a month to work just because I love it. But working in healthcare truly taught me, again, like the humanness that there is in people, and accessibility, and always making your patient the top priority. um,
Mhm.
Forever. It's just it. I think anytime you work in hospitality, I think everybody should work in hospitality. It teaches you that everybody does not have equality in this life.
So, so very true. So as you were going into, you were going throughout this journey, you had, I'm sure you had some people, you had the naysayers, you had the cheerleading squad, let's talk about, because if you got more naysayers than you do your cheerleading squad, and that's who you're listening to, that can kind of make you not even go forth.
Yeah.
What
No,
did you do? How did you circumvent that part?
I will say, I have, as far as my friendships go, I've always been very astute. I've always been very aware, since high school, I'd say. And in middle school was probably the last time that I was truly flippant with my friendships. And then college again. But in college, it was like I knew that everybody was a temporary friend, and I didn't really dive that deeply into friendships. There was a couple that left me a little disappointed, but with me meeting my husband so young, and also after high school was when I truly started to appreciate my mom again. So my mom is my best friend, and my husband is my best friend. So having two people in my life that I know are just accept me at my most vulnerable state has made me hold my friends to an extremely high standard. So meeting my husband when I was 19 um truly helped me, I think, throughout my entire 20s. Because if my friend, just relationship wise, not even success wise, if they were not giving me what my two other best friends were, it was an acquaintanceship, honestly. And so I feel like in my 20s, I've had a lot of acquaintances. And only within the last 5 years have I truly met some of my truest best friends. I have a couple best friends from high school, but they've kind of waned and everything. But like my true best friends, who I put up there with my mom and Brett, have come within the last 5 years.
Okay, okay.
Hmm. And so I didn't have a lot of people's opinions that I really valued.
Honey, say that again for the people in the back that didn't hear.
Also, it's very important to succeed in silence, I think, sometimes.
Girl, one of my scribes put that in the comments. She
Yeah.
said it's very important to succeed in silence because
Yeah.
everybody can't know every step you're making.
Well, because you don't have necessarily naysayers, you have nay prayers, who are constantly praying for your demise, hoping that you will slow down so that they can catch up. Um, and that's something that's always been something that's been a common thing for me, is that I've always been unintentionally ahead. So I graduated college before my high school class graduated college, just because of the program that I was in. I started working before a lot of my peers started working. I got married before a lot of my peers got married. I had my child and then now I have a business before I'm even 30 years old. So I've always been the youngest in any situation that I've been in. And so people have constantly shared their opinions with me. But I know oftentimes it's just coming from a place of jealousy and ignorance. That it's just something they've never seen before.
Yes, absolutely. You know what? The wisdom that you have gained in such a short period, of your young life, that is huge. I mean, some of us, it's taken
Mhm.
so many years
Yeah,
to hear this time of thing. So many people have allowed the wrong people in their front row, and then it's been caused a stagnation, or
right.
or even going in circles and cycles. So you've learned some valuable wisdom at an early age. What
I
would
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I attribute that to my support system. Honestly, if I didn't have my mom, and my husband, and my dad, of course, my dad taught me everything in life. He, as far as humbleness, and I could have grown up to be an extremely spoiled brat if it was up to my mother, but my father grounded me. Um, but I was given space to make mistakes, and I think in that I was then given space to grow. And I think a lot of people unfortunately are not given that grace. And that's not a privilege that I take lightly.
Wow. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say to other peers? Because you're closer to the age group of many of the ones. You're closer to the age group of my daughter. What would you say to your peer group that is like, okay, I want to succeed, but they're on social media. They're seeing what they see, and they're going by what they see. They're moved by what they see. What would you say to your peers?
I get it. I I get it because I'm human. I'm a woman. I'm a black woman. I'm a youth. Um, and social media is, we're in this age of comparison, but I think the most important thing is you are what you consume. And
Mm, mm.
that is mentally, that is what you eat physically, everything that you consume is who you are. And if you're not doing an emotional audit every once in a while, if you're not checking in with yourself and having conversations with yourself, um, then you may be doing yourself a huge disservice by what you're consuming. And I am in no way perfect, but I think oftentimes people are kind of their worst enemy in the name of comfort.
That's powerful. That's powerful. You are what you consume mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, doing an emotional audit because you need to check in with yourself. Whoo, girl. My goodness, my goodness. Um, so as started with with the launch of the actual of Love Me Some Lace, um, what were some of the obstacles that you found yourself encountering?
Yes, let's talk about that because I think that's so important. I think being honest with your successes and your stumbles. I don't call them failures. I call them
Mhm.
stumbles.
Right.
Um I think it's important because portraying this, oh, everything's always perfect, people are going to constantly be waiting for you to fall. If you're honest up front with where you kind of stumbled in your career, then no one can ever say that you're trying to pose as something else. So after we opened, one of my uh, not weaknesses, but something that I really want to improve on is how self-critical I am. I am a perfectionist in certain facets of my life. For the most part, I'm a very easygoing person. Like, I'll take it as it comes. I'm not very like organized or anything like that. That's why I have a virtual assistant and she helps me with everything. She helps me stay on track. But as far as when it comes to myself and my goals, I am a very self-critical person. So after we opened in October 2022, everything was amazing. We saw a great projection October, November, December, and then January it plummeted. January was our worst month to date, January 2023, and February 2023 was the second to worst month to date. And so those 2 months were very difficult for me. Um, and I looked at my mom, I talked to my husband. At the time, I was still working more so at my job as a surgical technologist. And although I had people there that are supportive, two of my best friends actually still work there. Um, it's just a different world. It's a different world. And to a lot of people, it's kind of like, why are you complaining when you have this amazing gift? Oftentimes, I compare owning a bridal boutique to owning a driving, owning a G wagon that looks beautiful on the outside, but you're pedaling it Flintstone style. And so there's a lot of hard work happening on the inside, but everybody on the outside just sees this beautiful, glamorous thing that you have. So why? How could you ever complain about it or have any fears that, like, obviously it's going to be successful, obviously. But then it's like, okay, where are the sales? Where are the numbers? Where are the people? Um, and so I had to really assess everything. I had to stop kind of living in that bubble of, well, you'll be successful no matter what. It's a bridal boutique. Like, everybody buys wedding dresses. You're only one of three in the whole county. You'll be fine. No, you have to put in work. So I did analytics. I assessed, ways that I could improve our marketing, and we invested. So we invested in Google ads. We invested in Instagram ads. I buckled down. I put my head down when it came to our social media. And I took a step back from my job as a social technologist. And again, having to have those conversations with myself that, like, I cannot do it all and be successful at everything, um, was difficult for me, but it was necessary. And I think in doing that, I then created an environment for myself then in December of 2023 to have the conversation with myself again, where I was like, okay, I'm getting burnt out with social media. I've been hustling since the beginning of the year. I've seen improvements, and I think now we're at a point where we can invest in an actual social media team. Um, and that was another hard pill for me to swallow, because again, it felt like I wasn't doing something that I was supposed to be doing. But again, I cannot succeed as a mother, a wife, and a business owner if I don't learn how to delegate tasks. And to give them to people who are good at them. So after doing that in December, it is still insane for me to say that January of 2023 was our worst month to date, and January of 2024 has been our best month to date.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
one of the things they say that a good leader can do is delegate.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said, you know what, I can't do it all. I can't wear all these hats effectively and efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it, but not to the best of your ability. You
Nope.
know?
And
So
it shows. It shows.
yes. And you had your best month on a month that shouldn't be your best month,
No,
because that's
not
the
at
time
all.
that everybody's sales are low.
Yes,
That's
retail January, and that was another thing with last year in 2023. It was like everybody was telling me January slow, and I'm like, not this slow. I'm like, but we could be a little faster, like it was just I hear these things, but to me it's just, and also you have that nagging thing in your head where it's like, you're too young to have employees. You're too young to be delegating these tasks. Those are the mature woman that I worked with at my first job when I was 2021 in my head. And I have to push them away, because there is no one in my position for me to talk to about my situation. And that's when I realized that because I don't have that person, I have to become that person for other people. And that means I have to push past.
I heard someone say something to the effect of, and I can't remember the person who said it, but they said because it hadn't been done doesn't mean it can't be done.
Right.
So who can better do it than you, you know? And so what would you say to that person that's saying, I had a dream. I
Mhm.
wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. What would you say to that person they're in that place of, I'm scared to jump out of the boat. I'm scared to even research the boat. What would
Yeah.
you say to that
No, I
person?
trust me, I understand. Um, the thing about fear and the rejection uh, is that fear is something in our minds that comes from a place of protection. And I think in order for us to move past it, we have to dissect it, and we have to understand where these fears, these anxieties, where they originate, and then after you dissect it, it becomes small. Uh, I think fear is an emotion, and I think we should all feel our emotions. I think we should feel them, and we should let the negative ones pass through us, and we should not let them live within us. When you let fear live within you, is when you allow it to hold you back and stop you from being the best version of yourself. And again, it's a form of protection. So if you're afraid of something and you dissect it and then you learn, like, okay, so if you're afraid to start a business and you're like, okay, why am I afraid to start this business? So you dissect it and you're like, okay, is it money? Is it monetary reasons? Am I afraid to lose money on this? Then it's like, okay, well, start it on a smaller scale. uh do it in a way that start a business that doesn't have a lot of overhead. um is your fear that you'll be embarrassed if you fail? Well, embarrassment is also a social construct. Um, you have to no longer hold other people's opinions unless they are people whose opinions who that provide a certain amount of value to your life. You can't allow people in your life who you don't look up to. That's another thing, is having people in your life who you aspire to be like, whether that's success wise, career wise, like motherhood wise, people you respect. Those are the only opinions you should be listening to. And I guarantee you, those people would support you following your dreams. Um, so you have to assess, okay, so who am I embarrassed by? There's nobody left after you assess that. And so on and so forth. Uh, I think the biggest thing in starting a business or starting a venture or following your dreams is having trust within yourself. And if you do not trust yourself, then you cannot move forward. Um, and then that will take me to my next point, which is, how do I establish trust within myself? Um, and that's self discipline. I think self discipline is the fastest way to establish trust in yourself. Um, and this trust that I keep talking about is just another word for confidence. Um, Being confident is so important when it comes to following your dreams, because it gives you tunnel vision. It allows you to weed out all the static noise that you hear all the time when you're trying to literally just focus on just trying to figure things out. Nothing is, you know, uh, for sure. Nothing's promised to you. You just got to work through it. You got to figure it out. You got to determine what the right path is. But you can hear a lot of static before you even get to that point. So you have to learn how to grow your confidence. And in that, you get self discipline. You'll notice that a lot of the most successful people that you come across, most of them have an exercise workout routine. It just goes hand in hand. Self discipline looks many different. It takes on many different forms, but when you are disciplined, for me, I go to Pilates. I go to Pilates 5 to 6 days a week, and what it does for me is it holds me accountable, and it gives me a way for me to trust myself. Uh, I know that when I have that voice in my head that says, "You don't have to go today. You've gone so many times this week. You don't have to go today." That's the same voice that's telling you, why don't you just stay in that job and not pursue your dreams? Because it's comfortable here. Just like it's comfortable in my bed instead of me getting up and going to Pilates. when you overcome that voice, as simple as going to your morning workout, it constantly is so easy to just push it away, push it away. The same voice as when you're self disciplined in your health journey. It's the same voice that's going to be pushed away whenever you're thinking about not pursuing your dreams.
How important we're still in this self confidence and
Yeah.
how important is self love in this whole journey?
I struggled with that, not having a lack of self love, but feeling like I had too much self love. Um, I'm an only child, and I have always prioritized uh, self love and self care. um, because I was the only one growing up, and so I was very spoiled. But like I said, I had my dad to ground me, so I had a certain, I guess, expectation when I became an adult. I was like, I have to sustain this lifestyle that I have been given as my during my childhood. So my husband knows that. I know that, and we both know that there are certain bars that have to be met. When I had my son, I struggled because I had met so many women who had lost themselves in motherhood. And I thought that that's what I was supposed to do in order to be a good mom. And yeah, that it was, I breezed through newborn, his first infancy. It was around when he turned two. I think it was 2 to 3 was a very difficult year for me in motherhood. And he's 5 now. But 2 to 3 was difficult for me because I had practiced self love up to that point. But and he was a very, easy baby. And when he turned 2, he didn't have a terrible tooth, but he was just more active, and he was more touchy and just in my face all the time. And so I would feel so guilty for like getting overstimulated and not constantly wanting to be touched. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, am I a bad mom? Things like that. And then I was like, well, maybe I need to just dive into motherhood more. Like, maybe I shouldn't send him to daycare. Maybe I should stay home with him. Maybe I'm not connecting with him. All these things. I had what they call the toddler blues. It's like delayed postpartum depression. Um, and it all stemmed from guilt. It all stemmed from guilt, and it all stemmed from me also mourning him as a baby, because when he was a baby, you know, he wasn't mobile, he was quiet, he was chill, and I knew that I would never have that time with him again. And that as we were going into this toddlerhood, I was just shaken, and I missed my baby. And what I truly missed was my ability to be me. Um, and so after going through therapy, I realized that there is no shame in loving and taking care of yourself, and that that's actually the best thing you can do for your child. A lot of people may think that it's selfish, or that you're not maternal. If a lot of people are like, well, how do you you know buy clothes for yourself? How do you care about makeup? And I can't care about makeup because I'm a mom. And I'm like, these are all things that you've let society tell you, and that if you truly don't want to care about those things, don't care about them. But don't blame it on your kid. It's not your child's fault that you don't want to do those things. So I make time to go out with my friends. There's always somebody to watch my child, our children. Actually, in May, a group of us are going to Mexico without our children, because it's something that we need to do in order to reconnect with our spouses, and also reconnect with each other as friends, as adults, as individuals outside of being parents.
You know what? And you're talking a lot of wise stuff because sometimes um, we as mothers get caught up in our children,
Yeah.
especially when you have your children and active, you're active in this and you're active in that, and coming from being only child, and you lose you.
Yeah.
And they get older and they get become teenagers, and then you're like, who am I now? So
Right.
I'm glad you learned that early on.
Really. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love the fact that you all are going away and,
Yeah.
without the baby,
Yeah.
because that's a necessity too. As you're pursuing your dreams and continuing to grow, you got to grow to get, continue to grow with your spouse, because y'all got married young. So
Yes.
continuing to grow and continuing to, I love it. I love it. Um, with these young people who are your age group that are saying now, hey, she's juggling motherhood, being a wife, being owning a business. What makes you you? What makes
Mm.
Taylor Taylor? Because some people feel like, well, I can't do what she do, and da, 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 da. Let's go ahead and just shut some stuff down and say
That
what makes
is
you
such
you,
a
and
good
then just give them some
question.
general stuff too.
Because there are sometimes when I look in the mirror or I look at videos of myself and I'm like, who is that? you know, I I feel like I'm still getting to know myself, and I just turned 28. My husband's 6 years older than me, so it's so interesting to watch him, be almost in his mid 30s, and I'm not even 30 yet, and I'm just so excited to be 30 because I feel like it's going to give me, excuse me, so much more credibility, as if I need more credibility. So it's almost like there is a side to me that I'm learning to embrace, and it is my inner child. It is the immature side of myself, because I think sometimes people take themselves way too seriously, and
Mhm.
I'm just not that gal. I was the class clown, and I was the girl that nobody knew was smart. I didn't act dumb. I was in honors classes, but I wasn't just blatantly out there like spitting facts, because I also am aware that I am black. And so I can't I chose not to stand out too much in high school and college. I chose to just, be me at the degree that I wanted to, as to stay out of drama, as to stay out of any type of conflicts or anything that would cause my family or anything any trouble. And then I blossomed uh, recently, honestly, after I became a mom. I blossomed, and so I'm figuring out who I am probably within the last 2 years, and it's crazy because when I was in college, after I looked at my dress, and my mom and I had talked about opening a bridal boutique. I remember I was at a Mexican restaurant with my classmates, and I said, "When y'all get married, y'all gotta come to my bridal boutique." And when I tell you, everybody at that table laughed, and they were like, "Girl, okay, girl, when you get that bridal boutique, like we'll come see you." And I laughed too, because I was like, this is just like a silly idea. I wasn't like taking it so seriously, like, "Oh, how dare they don't believe in my dream." Like, I'm just like, yeah, that is funny, isn't it? And so now that I'm here, I'm just so grateful. I'm so happy. And I think a large part of me being able to be who I am, be so confident, and be so real and raw and integral and compassionate and funny. All these things that I love about myself and that other people have told me they love about me is because I don't take myself too seriously. Like, I really don't.
A person that is looking to looking for that dress, and they're saying, look, I don't have $5,000 for a veil.
Yep.
But I want to stay in the upstate as far as looking at some things.
Yeah.
How would they even know to find you or book a book? Because they can book a party. What you call your thing? Uh, you have a special thing that they can
Oh,
book.
the wife of the party.
The
Yes.
wife of the party, y'all. She has a
Mhm.
package called the wife of the party.
Yes.
So tell,
It's our after hours
tell them,
appointment. It is a fun
what
time.
The wife of the party.
Wife of the party. I'm actually about to raise the price on it because we've been doing it for a year, and so it served its purpose. You know, the main purpose of it in the beginning was one to provide my brides with an exceptional experience that was more than what we already offer. A lot of bridal boutiques charge for those special experiences. And I was like, if I'm gonna charge somebody for a party, for an appointment, it's gonna be a party. Like, we're gonna go all out. So it's a 3-hour appointment. We provide food, a whole boho picnic setup that looks like it's a picnic in like Marie Antoinette's time, like a tea party. It's so special, and it's at night. You get the whole boutique to yourself, and you just do a fashion show with your friends and family. I love it. But I think it's also important to know your worth, and it was also a marketing strategy. So the whole point of it was for it to be priced very competitively, and for us to get enough girls in the door to do it, to then get enough reviews to talk about it, to get enough girls to talk about it, to share it. And now we're at the point where I can raise price on it and it be justified. A lot of times I'm often very wary about raising my prices or doing anything like that because I don't believe that I have enough clout. But when I get to that point, I'm very excited. So yeah, if you ever want to reach me, or if you want to book an appointment or a wife of the party before I raise prices, because I'm going to be doing that probably in April. Um, Best thing to do, it's very easy. Lovemesomelace.com. When I tell you I was so happy I got that domain. Lovemesomelace.com. You'll see the booking tab. We have bridal appointments, bridesmaids appointments, and the wife of the party appointment. And our website is very user friendly. That was one of the first things that we severely invested in because it was important to me. As when I was a bride myself, I'm like, if your website is not user friendly, I'm not using you.
No,
Not
no.
with our Gen Z millennial attention spans. Not gonna.
She said not with our Gen Z
Mm.
attention spans. So Taylor, our final thought for tonight. Before you tell them again how to follow you, how to
Yeah,
book you, because we're just going to remind them again before you
of
get
course.
before you leave. But what would be your final advice to the listeners, or your final words of encouragement? What's something that if they don't remember anything else tonight, that they remember this as they're pursuing their purpose,
Right.
pursuing their dreams, pursuing, I'm not even gonna say purpose, I'm talking about dreams and goals, because
Goals.
sometimes they drop the ball because life is happening, and they just put it to the side yet again.
Yeah. Um, Kind of just a summary of what I've already said. Y'all need to be doing emotional and relationship audits. Truly, you need to get outside of yourself. Y'all need to put the materialistic stuff aside. I'm not saying get rid of it, but put the importance of it aside, the priority of it aside, because it's probably holding y'all back from pursuing your dreams. One of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard, and I do not remember who says it. So if I can Google it one day, I will. But it is that a leader does not pull from the front; they push from the back. And that to me is kind of how I lead my whole life. And I don't believe that in order to be successful, you have to be somebody that dangles a carrot in front of other people and dupes them and scams and everything. I think uplifting your community, being involved with your community, networking in your community, you will organically grow and opportunities will fall into your lap.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So tell them one more time how they can follow you, how they can book an appointment.
Yeah.
If y'all know some brides, y'all know springtime and fall and all
It's
that,
that
everybody's trying
season.
to get married.
Yeah.
So y'all can send them over to Love Me Some Lace, and she's gonna make you feel like you're in that $5,000 veil place.
I
And
love
now
how you keep going up on the price on the bed.
but it ain't gonna be 5,000 though, is
You better not. I said, who's this made by? How many people how many people sold this veil for? How many
Woo,
years?
Lord have mercy.
Follow us on Instagram at Shop Love Me Some Lace. We're on TikTok, same name at Shop Love Me Some Lace. Facebook, Love Me Some Lace. Website, lovemesomelace.com. Email, lovemesomelace@gmail. Uh, we're on. You can Google us, everything like that. To my fall brides, if you are getting married in September, October, November, you need to be shopping for your dress yesterday. I just looked at my ship dates, and my one of my designers, they're already saying they're going to ship out dresses July 24th. So you need about 6 to 8 weeks for alterations. So keep that in mind, especially if you're getting married in a busy season like October and September. You need those alterations appointments booked further in advance because you're only going to wedding dress seamstresses and they get booked up. So keep that in mind. Tell your friends who are brides that if they're not looking for wedding dresses right now, then they are behind.
Now, now, Taylor, what if you have somebody that just got engaged and they're saying, I don't want to wait till October to get married. I want to get married in June. You have something you can help them
I
get
do.
it?
I no, we started the business mostly on off the rack gowns because just like everybody else, I had to wait for my sample gowns to come in. So I do offer off the rack gowns. And then also my designers do have a feature that is in stock gowns. So I am able to kind of look at the database and see which dresses are in stock in certain sizes and in certain colors. Just know that if you are a last minute bride, your options will be limited and your budget may have to expand.
limited limited options, but you're gonna have to expand that
But
budget.
I will tell you, my last minute brides are my most chill brides. They're like, it'll happen, it'll be in my price range. And I'm like, sure, I believe you. If you believe it, I believe it.
Well, Taylor, we thank you so much for joining us tonight on Friday Inspire. Thank you for sharing with your peers and even some of the people who are older that are listening, whether they're listening live or they're listening to the replay. You dropped some serious gems of wisdom, even at a young age. You dropped
Oh,
some
thank
serious gems
you.
of wisdom that anybody can utilize.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Congratulations to you and your mom for being the first African American duo, mother daughter duo up in the Spartanburg, upstate, doing your thing with your Love Me Some Lace bridal boutique. Y'all
Exactly.
make sure.
I didn't even say anything. My mama, gosh, she is again very important in the business. She does all of our administrative work. So that's why I didn't mention her a lot in what I was talking about because she is the numbers lady. She tells me how much money we can spend. She does all of the taxes, all the payroll, all of that. That ain't none of my business. Okay. So just know she is involved in the most important way, but I
Right.
don't know anything about it. So
Hey, you got to have somebody that can handle all that because you
yeah.
can't wear all those hats
Mm-mm.
and be effective. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And it takes a great leader to know the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
It really does. But we thank you. We look forward to hearing great things from you. And you're welcome back. Let's let us know.
I love to see it. Thank you so much for having
Oh,
me.
it's my pleasure. Have a great one.
You too. Bye, guys.
Yeah, so we had an awesome interview with Taylor. If you are looking, you're a bride or you know of a bride that's looking for something, they're in the upstate. Y'all, she's located in downtown Spartanburg, South Carolina. You get that experience of being in an upper echelon boutique, not paying the upper echelon prices. Because when she went to try on a dress 8 years ago, and the veil by itself cost $2,000 8 years ago, she wants you to have that experience, but not have the sticker shock and pay that kind of stuff, okay? But y'all share that information, lovemesomelace.com. We will be back same time, same place next week. Early happy resurrection Sunday week and happy early, resurrection week. Y'all enjoy life. Life is meant to be lived, not to settle. And it is. I love y'all. I'll see y'all same time, same place. I'm Aaliyah, your purpose midway. See you next week. Have a blessed one.